very much for being a part of this wonderful conclave and also supporting us with your views. This is the most sought after session where we have all the CEOs of the top award-winning FCBA award-winning banks and the top gems which we have nurtured in all our time towards in this last 15 years. And I am really glad to learn from all of you. So we will go in a small chronological order. While I have made about 7 to 8 questions related to this FCBA CEO session, this session is generally called as the vision of visionaries. And we are basically trying to say that what is the vision that we can take from each of these visionaries in this interesting conversation together. So this is what we are trying to take from all of you. Let me just start this conversation with one very good question. The cooperative banking business is getting tougher and tougher with technology, with competition and newer trends. And so let us try to see how we are going to make ourselves agile, versatile, and meet the competition. But before that, let me introduce my entire panel to you. May I invite Mr. Pratap Singh Chauhan, who is the CEO of Pune DCC Bank, to join the session. Pratap ji, welcome, namaskar, welcome to this wonderful session. Mr. Vitthal Danani, the GM of Varacha Urban Cooperative Bank. Vitthal bhai, congratulations, namaskar. Thank you for being a part of it. Again, another wonderful gem in the urban cooperative sector. Anurag Srivastava, who is the CEO of Uttar Pradesh Urban Cooperative Banks Federation. He has been a very strong guiding force in a lot of interesting conversations with us. Welcome, Anurag ji. Mr. Rajendra Sarkale, who is also always been a guiding force for many of the DCCBs as one of the best performing DCCBs in the country today. Welcome, Rajendra Sarkale ji. Then we have Mr. Sadanand Naik, the CEO of Konkan Mercantile Cooperative Bank. Again, an established industry professional from the Urban Cooperative Bank. We have been always in touch with each other since his GP Parsik days, and it is really nice to have you once again in our session. Another great spokesperson from this industry is Mr. Atul Khirwadkar, who has never stopped shy of sharing his perspectives to the regulators, to the industry, and always has been very eloquent whenever it comes to the industry's standards. And we also have another stunning star from Gujarat, Mr. Vinod Dadlani, again, one of the best and one of the really forward-looking CEOs from the state of Gujarat, leading the largest cooperative bank, urban cooperative bank in Gujarat. We have Mr. Milind Rajhans, who is the who is heading the banking business practice at Infrasoft, who is also our partner for this session today. And along with him, we have Mr. Shete, Mr. Rajesh Shete, who is a joint general manager and CEO of the Dombivli Nagarik Sahkari Bank. So friends, let us start off with today's session. Pratap Singh ji, I'll come to you first because I thought let us start from a DCCB perspective, a vision of a visionary from a DCCB perspective, and then we will go UCB perspective. So first, let us go to the DCCB perspective. And Mr. Pratap Singh ji, can you please share some interesting vision from the DCCB's perspective, how you are looking at from the top of the DCCB sector, and what is the new vision that you would like to enlighten us with today?
Okay, thank you very much. As far as the DCC banks is considered, our business as compared to other banks is quite different. We are related with the agriculture finance, mostly for the crop loans and the medium and long-term loans to the farmers. Another sector we are financing to the sugar industry, which are based on the cooperative sector, that is a value-added product of the farmers only. Now, no doubt there are some problems in the DCC bank sector also because the farm sector is fully dependent upon the nature. If something happened in the nature, that will automatically our borrower is suffering, and that will reflect our balance sheet also. Another aspect is the sugarcane. There is a very competition in the market about the sugar prices, and as far as the FRP is considered, the sugar factories also the facing problems. These are the issues with the DCC banks we have to fight. As compared to other banks, our fighting is very, very tough because our customer is a poor farmer, and so he is always in the financial crunch. We expect some government schemes for this sector because sometimes floods is coming, heavy rain is coming, and that will affect the poor farmers also and the primary agriculture societies also. Now, our vision is how to make the primary agriculture societies in the Maharashtra. Particularly, we are not giving direct finance to the farmers. We are fully dependent upon the agriculture finance through the primary agriculture societies. Now, you have in your question, you are rightly pointed out about the technology and the young chaps in the rural area also. They want the new technology, and some DCCs have done that. They are, as compared to other urban or the private banks, we are also on the same path of the technology. But till today, we are not satisfied because in our loan portfolio, agricultural finance is the main. But for the survival of the DCC bank, individual finance is also we have started, and we think that in our balance sheet, 50% is the agriculture finance and 50% individual finance like other banks we expected in future only. Thank you very much, sir.
Fantastic. Any interesting innovation or something that you want to share with us, what you have seen or done in the last 1 year, which you feel can be a great innovation to share with the industry?
For the urban bank sectors, for the DCC bank sectors, in the last 1 year, we have concentrated on the development of the primary agriculture societies.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for your insight. Let us move to the urban cooperative bank sector. Sadanandji, from Konkan Mercantile Cooperative Bank, you have been at the helm of affairs at this Konkan Mercantile Bank. With the norms of directors and board directly being responsible for compliance and with compliance head necessitated by the RBI, the regulator is making the directors totally liable. Okay. How are the directors and the boards working towards entering proper control of compliance in the banks? What kind of governance things are being set by the banks in place?
This compliance function was there in the banks, urban cooperative banks, much earlier also. But what has changed is the amendment in Banking Regulation Act, whereby it is not only the banking function, it is the management function, corporate governance, everything has come within the purview of Banking Regulation Act. Hence, the supervisory advisories have gone up multiple in numbers. So there are a large number of guidelines and advisories are being issued by Reserve Bank of India now after amendment of Banking Regulation Act, like formation of board of management, getting the permission of Reserve Bank of India before appointment of a managing director or a CEO, or getting the permission from RBI before appointing the statutory auditors, or there are so many new things are being, new guidelines are being issued by the Reserve Bank of India nowadays. So the compliance function itself has become a big function in the bank. And RBI is insisting on corporate governance, compliance, as well as internal inspection. These are the three areas where the focus is being given by Reserve Bank of India as of now. Now, the issue is how the board of directors are concerned, or the board of the directors are concerned about the compliances. Actually, the compliance is the work of CEO and its officers, the HODs and the officers who are to make the compliances of the instructions given by Reserve Bank of India from time to time. But what has happened is in the amendment of BR Act under section 10A, 10BB, as well as 35AA, these three sections, the entire power is being given by Reserve Bank of India and the responsibility is fixed on the board of directors. The Reserve Bank of India can appoint the board of directors, remove the board of directors, remove the managerial person, remove CEO, or make changes as they deem fit based on their process of inspection. I am sure Reserve Bank itself is not making any injustice. What they do is they follow certain processes, like they make the inspection. Inspection is done by a separate person. Inspection report completion is done by another person. Then the report compliance of the report sent by us is looked after by a third person. And the penalty to be charged or whatsoever is looked after by another enforcement department. So Reserve Bank is functioning on the basis of the processes rather than an individual base. So we don't have to suspect or think that Reserve Bank is going to take an action against any cooperative banks just because they want to take action. It is not so. They want proper control. They want proper governance. They want proper compliances and proper internal control system. Now that board of directors and the directors are being put within the purview of Reserve Bank of India under these three sections, as I quoted earlier, 10A, 10BB, as well as 35AA. With this, the entire power is with the board of directors. Entire power is with the Reserve Bank of India to control the board of directors. Hence, the responsibility of the board as well as the directors have grown manyfold, and their accountability is also being properly looked after by the Reserve Bank of India. Hence, a extra responsibility is being put on the board of directors and the chairman of the bank to ensure that the advisories and the circulars that are being given by the Reserve Bank of India are properly followed by the and properly complied by the bank. For that purpose, Reserve Bank of India has already advised that banks should have a chief compliance officer. He should be in addition to the CEO. Normally, these compliances were earlier looked after by CEO himself. Now that there are multiple areas of compliances, Reserve Bank has advised that you should have his chief compliance officer also. The banks have to appoint a compliance officer, and CEO has to take a regular follow-up action with the compliance officer and ensure that all the compliances are being properly done and properly reported and properly minuted in the books of the bank, so that the directors and the chairman's responsibility is being properly looked after, and they don't have to really fear about this. That's my view.
Fantastic, sir. I appreciate this view. And one of the important thing is from all the banking sector, be it private sector bank, commercial banks and all, the chief compliance officer was always a necessity for all the public sector and private sector banks. So is the case with the chief information security officer. Whereas in our cooperative banking sector, it was not there. But one of the important thing is also deciphering the right kind of information from the circulars of the RBI. Many a times the cooperative banks have not been able to do it properly, and this particular compliance officer being given this responsibility is a very, very important step in governance of the cooperative banks. Thank you very much for your opinion, sir, and I'm sure that we will have a lot more CEOs sharing their views on this particular topic. Anybody else would like to comment, or before I go to the new question, or should I go to the next question now?
See, Babu, host of new regulations have come to the urban cooperative banking sector. Post PMC, if we see, almost in all of the areas of the functions of the bank, urban cooperative banks, there has been regulatory tightening. Starting from Board of Management, Constitution of Board of Management, then this BR Act amendment came, then many other regulations, be it CISO, be it CRO, be it risk-based internal audit system, be it appointment of MD and CEO, exposure norms, priority sector lending norms, etc., etc. So a huge regulatory framework has been prescribed for urban cooperative banks. See, earlier urban cooperative banks used to work as universal banks. Now, with this expert committee recommendation also, you see, basically they are seeing up to tier 3 bank, we just work as a small finance bank. So our working area is being tried to be shrinked. Instead of working as a universal bank, now we will have to work according to just like a small finance bank. Then see, there has been other host of regulations like opening of current accounts. So that is also shrinking my business. It is also impacting because certain borrowers, urban cooperative banks borrowers are required to open current accounts with other banks for their taxation payment related needs, foreign exchange related needs. So they are facing challenges. Banks are asking them to close the accounts. Likewise, this emergency line credit guarantee scheme, which was introduced post-COVID, it was not applicable to urban cooperative banks. So apart from that, of course, new set of banks are coming like payments and small finance banks. Competition is increasing. They are coming with latest technology, all types of products with good skill set, marketing appetite. So all these things are posing a lot of challenges for the urban cooperative banks. Now, especially how to thrive and see increase the business in this scenario, that is a major challenge. I will share only my experience, how we have been doing in our bank. See, it is, we are not, see, in a race. We have been always there to work in such an environment there is a sustainable growth. So we do business only where we understand that. See, instead of going for all sort of businesses and all sorts of products, we try to be very conservative and focus only few aspects, subjects, products or services we have where we have niche. So understanding our own area market, accordingly we focus and frame our products and policies. Likewise, to become more competitive and also compliant with RBI guidelines, we also tune our products in such a way that we focus on priority sector, we focus on small ticket size, we focus on weaker sections. Like for weaker sections, we are focusing Muslim and Jains, and there we are offering more discounts as compared to our card rates and rating related rate of interest. So that, see, that 12% weaker section target, PSL target of 75% and exposure norms of 50%, 0.2% to 2% of Tier 1 capital. For us, it is up to 1 crore. So all these things can be achieved. So that advanced planning we have to do and accordingly work. See, two other areas which we are focusing is continuous training and skill development of the staff. And because that is a big challenge, and simply by engaging experienced staff from outside, that is not the solution. Our own staff has to be trained, skilled, so that because attrition in the own staff will be quite lower as compared to other banks, experienced officers if we engage. They come for short stay and then they go when they go get better opportunities. And technology, of course, technology as urban cooperative banks, I see we are far behind and lot has to be done there. But then see, first we have to stabilize in the basic core functions, and then we have to see that how we can be see choice bank for customers as far as alternate delivery channels and see technology is concerned for both our users as well as customers. So that is a continuous process. Along with that, of course, security also is a very big issue, and for that also we are very keenly monitoring. CISO has been appointed. We have implemented the cyber security framework guidelines also. So all these things are going hand in hand. But for that, again, visionary board is also required, continuous support from the board members, and also continuous guidance, especially in technology, foreign exchange, credit areas from the board members also. So that type of a skill set in the board members is also required. So that is how we are doing.
Fantastic. I think that is a very good perspective view from the top, very crisp, very concise about how cooperative banks have to march towards the future. I still remember the day which was your first day in office of Kalupur Bank, and I happened to be in your bank. We could meet the very first day when you joined your office, and you have come a very long way. And I see the great visionary way in which you have led your bank to success after success, year after year, and in times of all these emergencies. And there you are, still being the largest urban cooperative bank in Gujarat. Kudos to you and to the great work. Maybe I will try to see if I can get some more vision from you during this session after I finish with the other CEOs. Great. Thank you very much, Saab. Let me just get on, since there are too much of talk about technology. I have Milind Rajhans with me, who has been heading IT at AP Mahesh long ago, and now he is with Infrasoft. And recently, I was talking to the CEO of Kerala State Cooperative Bank. They have probably placed one of the largest, activity with Infrasoft towards the entire modernization and digital transformation of the bank. So, Milind, how are forward-looking cooperative banks today redefining their business, especially in a tech-savvy world? Like Mr. Dadlani said, that everyone has so much of money in the private and other sector banks compared to cooperative banks. So how are cooperative banks becoming the David and beating the giants like Goliaths in this sector using technology? Can you throw some insight?
We have Dadlani sir, Khirwadkar sir, Sarkale sir. These are the veterans who has expressed their thought process. In addition to that, what I would like to open is cooperative banks are now redefining their business towards customer engagement initiatives and revenue generation opportunities by introducing more and more digital services, that is API banking, utility payments, agency banking, other banking channels and all. See, the point here is the focus in cooperative bank is now, while redefining the business processes, is more inclined towards outcome based rather than process based. By keeping even intact their culture of the organization in cooperative banks. That is one. Second, the preference and priorities are being given for regulatory compliance automations. The solutions are being evaluated with regard to risk management, risk profiling, anti-money laundering, internal audit automation mechanisms and all. The vigilance control, those are required for day-to-day operations. Digital transactions are being planned, being automated in cooperative banks nowadays. Second, if you look at the innovation kind of things, those are happening in cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are asking nowadays 360-degree customer information, and in addition to that, transaction behavioral analysis by using BI tools, business analytics, and the customer engagement, answering their queries, attending customers' queries by using bots. So these are the innovations being introduced by cooperative banks. Specifically, what I would like to mention here is cooperative banks are now redefining their internal processes, redefining their business strategies towards Y generation customers. See, in addition to that, technology silos are being removed, convergence is being planned, because silos are impediments basically for any kind of business transformation. So these are the changes we are forcing in cooperative banks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Milind. And your focus on customer experience and customer engagements is very interesting. In fact, yesterday I was having the conversation with the Joint Registrar of the Ministry of Finance, the Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, who is going to grace the occasion as one of our honorable guests at this conclave. There are three things I liked from what he spoke about. One is he spoke about the ease reforms. Ease reforms is enhance access and service excellence. I think that was a very, very interesting concept which the ministry is initiating to talk to the banks. Of course, the cooperative banks have not come under the radar so much of the ministry, but they really want to engage, enroll, and work with the cooperative sector. And I was very interested to know the kind of technology understanding the bureaucrat had when he spoke about all these things. The second thing he also spoke very interestingly about is how banks should be using analytics to lend beyond just income tax papers and analytics, uh, beyond the civil papers or rating papers. How can they look at
Correct.
transactions, get data of transactions and lend on the basis of that small loans, and how they can also achieve the success factor which the microfinance sector is achieving. So these are 2-3 things. I will keep sharing some more insights as and when I get, but here I am to take more vision from the visionaries who have done some wonderful work. Anurag ji, you were having some interesting perspective to share. Let me just listen from your perspective. How are the urban cooperative banks beating the difficulties and trying to thrive in today's world? What is required?
Thank you, Babu. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. What I was trying to put in place was as to how the sector is to develop and how they should be developing. And for that, we must take a view of what has happened in the various industries in the recent past. For example, let us start by saying, the focus of the cooperative bank has got to be retail now. Even Reserve Bank of India, as my earlier speaker was saying, is directing us towards the functioning of a small finance bank, which means basically that they want the cooperative sectors to engage mostly into the retail sector. Now, if we were to take a lesson from some of the industries, for example, telephone. We all remember when there were those dialing type of telephones, and even getting a connection used to be very difficult. Then we got the concept of PCOs. What was PCO? PCO was the retailing of telephone services. But then the technology changed. We came into mobile phones. Mobile phones were just used for making calls and maximum receiving messages. There was no other thing that the mobile could do in the past. And each mobile used to weigh almost half a kg, 400 grams or so. And Lucknow is a special place where people used to hire people to carry their mobiles. So now all that has become past. Technology has changed. Now, what is mobile doing? Mobile is now becoming something which is giving education to the kids. It is giving entertainment to the seniors. And it has become a tool of business for all the young people. If you have to book your ticket, you can do it through mobile. You have to make payment. All shopping is now happening over Amazon online. All taxi booking is happening on Ola and Uber. So what I am saying is that these are the realities which the customers will now desire. Now, if the banks don't adapt and come to that level, there'll be fear of losing customers. And which customers? The tech savvy and the customers of future that we want to have. Now, what happened? We all remember, Babu, you would recollect that there used to be a thing called pager. We never know when that industry was born and when it vanished. So if we don't change, we'll become the pager of banking. Banking may changing every day has to happen. Not only that, we are facing competition from private banks and small finance banks. Soon we'll have virtual banks, digital banks. There will be no branch. Their overheads will be very less. They'll be investing only in technology. Now, coming to technology, technology is a very, very expensive thing. It has to be maintained, has to be bought, maintained, and scaled. Scalability of technology is also a very important factor. Now, The question is whether we can afford that technology or not. We all know what to be done. Now, here is where the cooperative nature of the industry has to come into play. The bank should pool together and have a common platform for technology. And only then you can compete with the giants. I'm not talking about the large banks like Alupur Bank or Saraswat Bank or the large cooperative banks. I'm talking about the middle and the small. Every single bank is as important as the large one. Now, compliance has to be there. The more technology, more compliance, right? But then what to do about it? It's like a necessary evil. So until unless we pull together, we make efforts to create a platform from where we can offer technology to all those and at a lesser cost. That is in my view, is going to be the future of survival of these banks. Until unless we do this, it will be very difficult. Every sphere, everything that you say is changing. The news is not only watched on TV now. Channels like London Top, Wire, they may not have even studios and offices. They work all online and they are doing very good business. So if we have to become the bank of the people, bank of the smartphone, which has reached everybody now, even at the lowest strata of society, the penetration has gone up. So the real challenge is to put our heads together to find how to make these banks adopt the technology. And this is where companies like Infrasoft or the larger banks will have to come and help the others. As I rightly remember, somebody was telling me that the cooperation among cooperatives is going to be the key for the future. That is my perspective.
Wonderful. You hit the nail on the head. In fact, the very thought that, you don't need a TV channel to probably get the news. This is what we started. This is called as bankingfrontiers.live. And this is our video channel that we started about 3 years ago. And today I have one video coming every 2 days into this, where we are having conversations with the bankers and we get some fantastic views. Okay, 15,000. I have got views as high as 70,000 views for a video. So that is something which is remarkable and out of the world. And this can be done by anybody, including a bank.
Anybody.
Correct? So that is the power of social media and digital that we have to start harnessing. And you are perfectly on that. Now let me go to Atulji. Mr. Atul from Kalyan Janata Sahakari Bank. You have been very eloquent on quite a lot of industry issues, and you have been speaking your heart out on all those interesting things. One thing is very clear. We are handing over the baton to the generation next. Okay. And the next generation is very tech savvy, very digital savvy, and they will not accept the same old norms that used to work in the cooperative banks till now. How are you as the CEO of an organization trying to transform the banks to raise the level of professionalism and also beat those challenges that has come and serve the new generation of customers who need things fast, who need things experiential, and who need things instant, and they want lesser amount of blue tapeism and red tapeism or whatever tapeism in the industry? What is your thought on this, Atulji? Oops, I think Atulji has got out of the range. Okay, let me get to the next question there. Vittal Bhai, Anurag ji has been talking a lot about bringing together the cooperative sector, trying to do things together, bringing technology, making it savvy for the cooperative sector. Just for your information, about 3 days back, we started a small group of forward-looking bankers and invited them to create a innovation group for cooperative banks, where we are going to do nothing, no good morning, no good night, no great ideas, but only things where we are going to innovate. Okay, Atulji, I will come to your question a little later.
No issue.
I'll just go to Vittalji. Somehow the network, this thing. So
Yeah.
Vittalji, we started this innovation. We are going to create a sandbox for the cooperative banks where cooperative banks can experiment with technologies in this sandbox. Now, next step is to go to NAFCB and talk to the umbrella organization and see if they can host it. The Ministry of Finance is willing to support us in this. We can get support from the NABARD also to get this. Okay. And let us also see how the urban cooperative banks can come together and support this sandbox. We will have the CIOs of the industry running it. But meantime, there has been a talk about all this umbrella organization, which has already got RBI approval and things are running. How do you think with this concept of umbrella, organizations like yours or cooperative banks can leverage them and at the same time support them to get a holistic support for the industry and grow cooperative banking to the next level?
Thank you, Babu and Banking Frontier. First, I am part of this the seminar. जो आपने अभी जो बात किया है कि जो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक के बारे में जो अभी हमारा बात चल रहा था कि टेक्नोलॉजी सेविंग्स के बारे में जो बात कर रहा था, थोड़ा लिटिल मैं बैक में जा रहा हूँ कि जो यूनो का एक डेटा है 92 का, तब 100 GB का पर डे का एक ट्रांसफरिंग होता था, नेट का ट्रांसफरिंग 100 GB होता था 1992 में। 2000 में हो गया पर सेकंड 100 GB। 2017 में हो गया वो 46,000 से ज्यादा पर सेकंड जो डेटा ट्रांसफरिंग का था वो गया। अभी 2020 में 1,50,700 GB का पर सेकंड डेटा ट्रांसफरिंग हो रहा है पूरे वर्ल्ड की मैं जो बात कर रहा हूँ। तो अभी आप जानते हैं कि इनके बाद में अभी जो टेक्नोलॉजी का जो यूज हो रहा है बाबू, इतना सब लोग कर रहे हैं। और जो यंग जनरेशन है, तो मेरे घर की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि मेरी डॉटर और मेरा जो सन है, अभी मेरे पास से कैश में पॉकेट मनी कभी भी लेता नहीं है। वो बोलता है कि पापा मेरे को पेटीएम कर दो, गूगल पे कर दो, वो कर दो। उसको पिज्जा खाने का है, उसको मूवी टिकट जो श्रीवास्तव साहब ने बोला है, तो वो वहाँ पेमेंट भी कैश में करते नहीं है, बाय मोबाइल वो ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं। मेरे बेटे का वो एक अकाउंट की जरूरत थी उसकी स्कूल में, तो मैंने बोला कि बेटा आपको स्कूल में आना पड़ेगा, मेरे बैंक में आना पड़ेगा अकाउंट ओपन के लिए। तो वो बोला पापा आप क्या बात कर रहे हैं जूने जमाने की, अभी मैं 10 मिनट में कोटक बैंक में आपका अकाउंट सेविंग ओपन करके मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ। तो उसने मेरे सामने अकाउंट ओपन किया और कोटक महिंद्रा बैंक में उसने 10 मिनट में उनका अकाउंट भी सेविंग ओपन कर दिया। तो आप जो अभी जो टेक्नोलॉजी की सेवर्स जो यंग जनरेशन है, वो अपने पापा को भी बोल देता है कि आप जुना जमाने में क्या बात कर रहा है। तो इस तरह अभी टेक्नोलॉजी सेविंग्स के अंदर सब वो आगे बढ़ रहा है। लेकिन अभी कोऑपरेटिव बैंक की बात है तो 1500 से ज्यादा कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में से 54 कोऑपरेटिव बैंक शेड्यूल बैंक वो बड़ा बैंक है। श्रीवास्तव साहब ने बहुत सच बात किया कि जो छोटा छोटा बैंक है उसको टेक्नोलॉजी एडॉप्ट करने में दल्लानी साहब ने बोला कि हम लोग बहुत पीछे है। जो अभी हमारा जो कंपटीशन है स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक में है, प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक में, पीयूसी बैंक में है, पेमेंट बैंक में है, तो टेक्नोलॉजी का भी इतना रिस्क बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ हमको काम करने का है। तो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक के जो जितना स्टैट्यूटरी रिजर्व अभी प्रॉफिट में से निकाल रहे हैं, इतना ही टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशन फंड के बारे में भी सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम लोग 20 हमारा जो नेट प्रॉफिट है उसमें से 25% जो स्टैट्यूटरी रिजर्व रखते हैं, ऐसा 25% टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशन फंड करके एक अलग से फंड क्रिएट करके टेक्नोलॉजी में आगे जाना पड़ेगा। वही एक बात है। अभी जो स्टार्टअप है इंडिया में, जितने भी स्टार्टअप है वो स्टार्टअप में से ज्यादातर यंग लोग स्टार्टअप है। पूरा एशिया की बात करो तो भारत और चाइना दोनों में से 58% यंग लोग स्टार्टअप कर रहे हैं। तो स्टार्टअप लोग जो टेक्नोलॉजी कर रहे हैं उसको हमको सपोर्ट करके टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में जो यूज कर रहे हैं वो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक के साथ कैसे जुड़ेंगे, वो भी एक सवाल है बाबू। तो इनके बारे में भी हमको कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा, ऐसी भी जरूरत है। हमको हमारे पास रखने का है, बिजनेस हमारे पास रखने का है। तो अभी BR एक्ट में सर ने सदानंद सर ने जो जितने चेंजेस किया है, दल्लानी साहब ने बोला कि इतना पूरा सर्कुलर आया है, इसके बीच भी हमको रह के भी काम करने का है। और हमारे यहाँ लेक में रहने का है और मगरमच्छ से डरने का है, जो बात है वो अभी छोड़ देने का है। इनके साथ भी हमको जीने का है, लेकिन किस तरह कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को इसके साथ ताल मिलाने का है, वो बात है सर। दूसरी जो मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मेरी खुद की बैंक की बात कर रहा हूँ, तो सर अभी 1500 कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में एनपीसीआई का डेटा मेरे पास आया है सर। वो एनपीसीआई का डेटा में सबसे ज्यादा ट्रांजेक्शन्स कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में हो रहा है तो अपना सारस्वत बैंक है, कालूपुर बैंक है। 10 नंबर मेरी बैंक पूरा 10 नंबर उसमें शेयरिंग है, 10 नंबर की बैंक है कि नेट बैंकिंग, मोबाइल बैंकिंग, एक ई कॉम में काम कर रही है सर। तो इस तरह से भी हमारा काम हो सकता है। अभी भारत ई कॉम में दुनिया का जो मार्केट है उसमें 9 नंबर आ रहा है, तो अपॉर्चुनिटी वो भी कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को ले लेने की जरूरत भी है। ऐसी मेरी सोच है बाबू।
फैंटास्टिक, बहुत बढ़िया। आपने ये जो स्टार्टअप की बात करी है वही मैं बता रहा था, जो फिनटेक का जो मैं सोच रहा था, ये जो नए नए कंपनीज जो फिनटेक्स टेक्नोलॉजीज लेके आती हैं, इनके साथ काम करते समय देयर आर टू थिंग्स। एक तो उनका टेक्नोलॉजी से बैंकों को बहुत ज्यादा फायदा हो सकता है, दूसरी तरफ ये देखना जरूरी है कि वो कंप्लायंट है कि नहीं है, आरबीआई का कंप्लायंस नॉर्म किसी ने ब्रेक किया है या रेगुलेटर अलाउ करता है कि नहीं करता है। तीसरी चीज है उसकी सिक्योरिटी की बात जो आती है, कितना सिक्योर है, कोऑपरेटिव बैंकिंग के लिए कितना जरूरी है। सो ये सब जो चीजें हैं, इसी के लिए you have to create an association where cooperative banks come together, create a sandbox or a laboratory where you can test these products, and हम लोग साथ में मिलके एक ऐसा टेस्टिंग सेंटर स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं जिससे कि हम वही टाइप के सॉल्यूशंस को चूज कर पाए कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स के लिए, जो कुछ लोगों ने साथ में मिलके परखा हो और उन लोगों को पार्टनरशिप्स के लिए प्रमोट करें, तो आपको सबको फायदा एक साथ होगा, रादर देन गेटिंग इनटू द रिस्क, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी का रिस्क भी काफी हो सकता है। अनुराग जी, आपको कुछ बताना था?
मैं कह रहा था what you are saying is perfectly all right, but add one more aspect to it. I would like to have dinner in Taj every day. The question is whether I can afford it or not. So affordability of the technology will happen with the corporate sector. The only way I will to pool our resources.
Absolutely.
Now somebody will have to work on this.
Absolutely. See, there is no somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
When everybody thinks somebody will work, nobody will work, and there will be no work.
Correct. I agree with you.
We have to take an initiative to do
yes, somebody has to take an
and
initiative.
this action is something again, where we have to form a particular objective and work towards it. Then it happens. Cloud is an excellent example of how technologies can be made cheaper, better, faster, and latest for the use of customers. Well,
and this is
also this at this. And yeah, boliye na sir.
This is also a fact that as technology is developing, it is also getting cheaper.
Yeah, it is also getting redundant.
Yes, it is all redundancy is always there.
पेजर तो मर गया, आपको मालूम भी नहीं है।
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ।
Be clear which technology, you should have the foresight to see which technology is going to last. Great, sir. Thank you. Atul ji, now to your question. How are we trying to create? Dhanani ji, 2 minute दे दीजिए, इनको करके फिर वापस से ले लेते हैं आपसे। So Atul ji, how are you ensuring that you hand over a great professional organization for the next generation of customers? Because everyone wants a professional, really fast growing bank, a bank which is agile, which is listening to you on a day-to-day basis, using analytics, using technology, using all these things. How are you working on this?
Thank you, Babu. I'm very happy to be associated with FCBA for the last 10 or 12 years. Initial part, I was not associated. But this has been a wonderful platform. And as you rightly said, that We have to look to tomorrow and plan today.
Absolutely.
Looking at making a cooperative bank professional or making it younger, or to ensure that we cater to the younger customers, has always been a dream. I mean, in the banking sector for the past 40 years, of which 25 years in a cooperative banking sector. I'm looking at the story 25 years ago when we were talking that we want younger customers to come to us. After 25 years, I'm doing the same. This, it would mean that somehow the younger generation, or the way we call Gen X, is always eyeing or trying to look at something which the cooperative banks have not been able to offer. Let's be honest, and let's look at the brass tacks. We are always lagging behind in terms of technology. We are always lagging behind in terms of the product innovation. We are always lagging behind in terms of the regulatory support. Some of my participants may not agree or may not like what I'm trying to say, but then I have always been blunt for the simple reason I don't beat around the bush, because you have to take the bulls by horn. Now, as far as the growth and all those logics which we are discussing here, let's forget about the growth. This is my personal view. For the simple reason, now with the changes in BR Act, you are going to grow the way Reserve Bank of India wants you to grow. Forget about what the expert committee has said, because of the 10 or 12 reports about the urban cooperative banking sector in the last 2 or 3 decades. Many of the items which were raised in these reports have never seen the light of the day. We are all gung-ho about what the expert committee has said, but then I'm not sure whether which kind of the recommendations would be picked up by Reserve Bank of India for implementation. For the simple reason, I firmly believe that the BR Act amendment that has come now and is being implemented, you have been placed on par with commercial banks. Gradually, the last entire year was focused on that. Here I am trying to respond to Babu, who is asking me a question. Boss, तुम ये younger generation या professional handover कैसे करोगे, कब करोगे? It's a huge challenge for me. For me, the charity begins at home. So this year, when we had our elections, we brought down our age of our directors from 58 to 48, 10 years gap. So at the top level, now our age of our board is 48. Age of my employees, we have brought it down from 46 to 38. So that is the first major step in the last 3 or 4 years. This has not happened suddenly overnight. It has taken a lot of effort to do that. But then unless you have a younger minds, or as Abdul Kalam has said, the ignited minds, things won't work. If you recollect, Babu, 6 or 7 years ago, we talked about the same question. You just take out the video or take out the session on that.
I agree.
And it has not changed, because we are not changing. Today, what has happened? Reserve Bank of India has taken a back. Indirectly, it is controlling your management. It is controlling your business. They want you to work like a small finance bank. Forget about the universal bank. And secondly, the capital requirements, even the expert committee has picked up and recommended, is 15%. Here is a Basel committee norm of 9%. Here is the norm of 10% for FSWM. And the expert committee says, boss, you want to do business universal banking? Have 15% CRAR. Secondly, the BR Act has blocked my capital augmentation. Reserve Bank of India has issued the new capital instruments norms. Nobody is working on that. Nobody is looking at that. 2008 was the year when, for the first time, the capital augmentation norms were issued. This time they are issued once again with the similar, some tweaking here and there. Who is going to take preferential capital from me? My worry is that I want to do business. I'm not going to grow. My growth is now stifled for next 2 or 3 years. Look at the concentration risk circular. Look at the regulatory guidelines or prescription in respect of private priority sector. अरे यार यहाँ पे जिंदा या यंग जवानों को कस्टमर फोल्ड में लाना बहुत परेशानी वाली बात है. And Anurag ji rightly said that we need to come together. For the simple reason, here is a son of Varsha Bank CEO who says that पापा मैं कोटक बैंक में आपका 2 मिनट में खाता खोल देता हूँ. ये क्यों हो रहा है? क्योंकि हम लोग पीछे हैं और हमें, अगर हम लोग उसमें माइग्रेट नहीं होते तो हम लोग टिक नहीं पाएंगे. Forget about the growth in cooperative sector, boss. Let me tell you, we have been treated with not with an apple to eye comparison. I recently talked with one of a very seasoned, experienced banker from Reserve Bank of India. He quoted me a fantastic example, which I would like to share. तुम्हारा शेयर कितना है 3% है इंडिया में इंटर बैंकिंग में योर शेयर इज हार्डली अराउंड 3% बट दैट्स अ मिसनॉमर व्हाई इट्स अ मिसनॉमर फॉर द सिंपल रीजन you are available in 6 states of the country. Look at the banking that is in the 6 districts, your stake will be nearing 10%. I felt very happy as this is a different way to look at my sector. But then with the kind of things which are coming up, forget about young customer, forget about old customer. Typically, the urban cooperative banks have, genetically, they have been designed to deal with mature people. We are all mature bankers because the urban cooperative banks typically have been built and developed on relationship banking. और जो नया बंदा है, जवान बंदा है, उसको रिलेशन की कोई पड़ी नहीं है. He is looking at faceless banking. 2 मिनट में काम, 2 मिनट में मेरा पैसा मिलना चाहिए. लास्ट वीक IIFL लॉन्च अ प्रोडक्ट 5 मिनट में व्हाट्सएप पे लोन. अरे मैं सोच भी नहीं सकता हूँ क्योंकि मेरे पास 100 भलाना है, 100 ढिमका है, मेरे को उसका मेंबरशिप होना चाहिए, तब तक मैं पैसा नहीं दूंगा. See those cobwebs, unless I work on those cobwebs, I will not be able to really respond to the question कि भाई मैं younger और professional generation को कैसे दे पाऊंगा. This is one part of the story. Second part is, as I said, charity begins at home. Technology, you have no choice, boss. You have to adopt technology. But then you have to pick up the products which you can afford. For example, if you do not have internet banking, mobile banking, IMPS and all those things, these are brass tacks. It is like said that the trust is a presumption in a cooperative bank. You can't say that we are a trustworthy bank. It has to be there in your genes. That being the story, the fundamental technology is there, fine. What we lack is that we do not have an application like YONO of State Bank of India, or an application which universally can be used by the urban cooperative bank, because the affordability is not there. If I do a capex, what would be the payback for this capex is difficult to estimate because my area is limited, my command area is limited. Now Reserve Bank of India or even the expert committee says that boss तुम तो आराम से multi state बन सकते हो अगर ये करोगे तो 15% CRAR है, we will not intervene. Expert committee says, has recommended that तुम्हारा मल्टी स्टेट होना अब तो बिल्कुल आसान है, अगर ये कंडीशन आप करते हो तो पूरा हो जाएगा. लेकिन आप पिछले 3 दशकों में you look at the various expert committee reports and look at the recommendations, hardly 25 or 30% of these recommendations have been implemented. So I'm not gung-ho on the recommendation for the simple reason I do not see light at the end of the tunnel unless there are changes at the brass tacks. I mean, in fact, the expert committee and Reserve Bank of India says that there are no enabling legal provisions. Now that being the story, and here I am looking and responding to Babu, yaar मैं professionally handover कैसे कर पाऊंगा? I'm aghast, I can't respond because I see the worries which I face here. This is my personal view. Of course, there are tidbits I am doing, but it's very tough. It has to be done. No option on that. There is no point in telling Babu that यार मैं वो chatbot पे काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं इस पे काम कर रहा हूँ. It's all like fooling myself.
I agree with you. I have one very interesting statement that I heard from a business leader, which I think I should share with you.
Okay.
If you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you have always got.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it is absolutely very important as a business leader, and all of you are leaders, that we have to think a little bit out of the box and do something different to get a different result.
Right. And therefore the session has to conclude towards that.
Absolutely. See, one thing, you must have heard of a concept called as neo-bank. Neo-banking is a concept where a bloody third company is giving you all those interesting concepts that a corporate that bank can give you over a simple app.
Yeah.
Okay. It can give you insurance, it can give you banking, it can give you chatbots, it can open your account, and beautiful thing is it doesn't have a banking license. Okay? So Bill Gates' presumption once upon a time in the 90s, I remember when I started my career in 90s, I heard banking is important, banks are not. He is very, very true with neobanks coming into picture. And
Very true.
India has got 9 neo banks and many more are growing.
Yeah,
Now,
right, right.
if you see the list of the 20 top unicorns that were formed in fintech, Unicorn is a company which has made more than 1 billion of turnover.
Yeah.
You will see that the crypto exchanges, 2 of them are already there. And more than 50% of the unicorns are fintechs, financial technology companies, Razorpay, BharatPay, CoinDCX, WazirX. These are all the key fintechs who have become the unicorns.
Right, right, right.
We are struggling to do 100 crores, 200 crores, 500 crores, 10,000 crores.
Right. Very right.
What are we talking about? So I think you need to think differently. You need to change differently. You need to alter your thinking to look at the bigger picture, add value. The day you are adding value, I think it will appeal to it.
वर्ल्ड का 50% ऑफलाइन काम कर रहा है, फिर भी इतना टेक्नोलॉजी है। और जो आपने अभी जो बात किया था क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में, तो जो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में 75% बिजनेस अभी क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में चला गया है, वही मेरे को एक बोलने का था सर।
नहीं, बराबर है। और आपको एक और बात बता दूं, ये बड़े बड़े बैंक्स में लास्ट मंथ में रिसर्च कर रहा था ऑफ 5 टॉप बैंक्स इन इंडिया वेयर दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग देयर टेक्नोलॉजी मनी। ओके, आपको 2 चीज बता दूं। एक तो चीज, ये लोग ओपन एपीआई बैंकिंग में काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत बड़ा खर्चा कर रहे हैं। एपीआई का मतलब है आप दूसरे बैंकों के साथ जुड़ने के लिए जहां पे टेक्नोलॉजी से ऐप को मिलाते हैं, उसको ओपन एपीआई बैंकिंग, बिगेस्ट एरिया। सेकंड, पीपल आर हैविंग देयर प्राइवेट क्लाउड बट दे आर स्टिल गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट on creating a mapping strategy for the public cloud. Okay, a secure and compliant mapping strategy for the public cloud. ये 2 एरिया में काफी काम हो रहे हैं। Security is the third important area जहां पे काम हो रहा है। तो from that perspective, I think we can take clues from where the industry is going. Sarkale ji, you have been doing a lot of innovation. आप कुछ ऐसा विजन और कुछ इनोवेशन शेयर कीजिए जो हम सब घर पे लेके जा सके आज के डिस्कशन के बाद। सरकाले जी।
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, Babuji. So, good evening to all of you. So, I'm very thankful to Babuji for selecting our bank for PO awards. Since last 12 years, we have been attached to Babuji and Bank Frontier. There is good support and in the form of award also, but you are giving good guidance to our bank also. Sir, our bank is one of the leading cooperative bank in the India. There are 371 district central cooperative bank in India, and we always stand in the first position, just Babuji told. So there are number of things that I can share to, particularly in district central cooperative banks, because all stalwarts are there from these urban cooperatives bank, and good discussion had taken place. We have gained 150 crore profit. Out of that, 65 crore, that is a net profit. Out of that, 40 crores distributed to farmers, societies, customers. We are taking care of farmers and also customers also. They have, that's why 100% faith is upon us. Our recovery is always more than 97% since last 20 years.
What have you done to achieve all this?
To achieve all these things, we are providing services to the farmers as well as customers. So up to 3 lakhs, 0% loan, the education loan up to 30 lakhs, 0% to the farmer's son. Then rebate to medium term loan. Then to bring the societies in profit, we are providing 30,000 rupees per year to the society. There are 954 societies in our district. Out of that, 867 properties societies are in profit. Our major this finance is rotated through society. So we are increasing potential of our society, and that's why recovery is good. One side services to the society, and other side services to the farmer. So that healthy climate is created amongst the farmers. One side this, other thing is that number of digital channels are there. That is the NEFT RTGS, IMPS, mobile banking, then ATM services, micro ATM, PhonePe, Google Pay, Natch Debit,
You
Natch
have
Credit.
invested in technology deeply.
All services we are providing through our bank. So we have limitations in that because we don't have that much trained staff. But we are providing training facilities through our training center. So there are nearly 25 our IT engineers, and through these engineers we are giving so many things are there. I cannot share within this thing. So lot of activities we are taking for the benefit of farmers, customers. This year, through our profit, customers 1 crore for this corona and 12 crores for farmers this mediclaim relief. So farmers are very happy with us. They have 100% faith upon us. So there is good recovery, and we have passed good message towards the farmers at a grassroots level. Other thing is that our board of directors, they don't interfere in our these routine activities. Once the policy is decided, then they don't interfere. That's why we finance without favor and without fear.
Wonderful, wonderful.
There.
So
They have given freedom to these things, CEO and all authorities. When we put anything that it is not feasible, then board don't interfere to go, even though you go for that. And that is the reason
Wonderful.
why we have succeeded. And
Wonderful.
another thing is that there is a training facility. So we need training. We always say that there is a good future to cooperatives, but whether it is correct, yes, I can say. But the number of activities we can do for the benefit of farmers, customers, and important thing is that training facilities should be provided to these things
Wonderful.
employees.
Wonderful.
Because
Thank you.
in our cooperative bank, all the employees are from rural area. They don't know English. They don't know how to write the things. They don't know computer technology. But we are creating and we are developing these activities through our training facility. We are calling our experts.
One
for
very
that.
good thing, sir, is clear from your entire perspective. Take care of your customers and they will take care of you.
Yes, definitely.
This is the most important one-line sentence that I could derive from all that thing that you have speaking. Because the moment you have taken care of your customers in Corona or education loan or supporting them during bad times, I think they will support you by making sure that you don't run into a loss. So this is a great management lesson that you can learn from this entire thing. So let me just, before I end up, let me also invite the Milind Rajhans from Infrasoft to come and share a last perspective about how to draw the technology roadmap for the cooperative banking, and then we will call it a day for this visionary CEO session. Milind, if you are there, we would love to invite you to make a closing remark.
I was listening thoughts of all the veterans here. As Sarkale sir rightly mentioned, there is a great future to cooperative movement, in fact, cooperative sector all put together. The need is to act holistically and in professional manner. Look at the vision of cooperative ministry. Presently, there are 95,000 primary agricultural credit societies are operational. And ministry is speaking about 3 lakhs more credit societies are to be established in the nation. Few FPOs, that is farmer producer organizations, have already started their operations. See the kind of vision cooperative ministry presenting to the nation. Unless cooperative banks transforms and redefine their strategy as a business strategy inclined to the new generation customer, start their customer engagement initiative, have more and more customers onboarded with them, the justification to this vision will be at stake.
Thank you very much, everyone, for having this insightful, wonderful learning session. And this is a session that I wanted always to make it as the crown of FCBA, where the CEOs and the chairman of the banks are sharing their vision for the industry. Thank you very much, Infrasoft, for being a partner for this. And thank you so much for being
Thank you so much
part of this session. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you.